Hello there, my name is Mackenzie and welcome to another episode of my J-pop journal series. This episode features NiziU once again, this time focusing on their Blue Moon single that was released 1 year ago tomorrow, December 14th. This was the group's first ballad to be released as an A-side single, and so far their only wintry song in their discography, so I thought it was fitting for this time of year. Honestly, when this song was first released, I wasn't too excited about it. Ballads have to have something really special about them for me to really enjoy them. I think being a Japanese music fan has ruined them for me because they do ballads a lot, especially idols, often to pad out albums or as easy B-side songs to slap on one of the 3 to 5 editions of a single and call it a day. So they're often pretty generic and uninspired. A-side singles are usually given more effort and are often quite nice, but ballads rarely do well for idol groups as singles in Japan unless the group is already extremely popular or it's a farewell release. So it's sort of surprising NiziU took the risk of doing one in the first place, considering cute bubbly pop was becoming their staple and seemed to be working well enough. But what do I know? This song has a bit of a beat to it, especially in the chorus where it picks up just a little bit, which I was happy to hear because it meant that this song was more likely to get choreo, and watching idols dance has always been one of my favorite aspects of idols. When I first saw the performance they were doing on TV, I was kinda surprised at some of the sexier dance moves for a song like this, but the more I saw them doing it, the more used to it I got, and now it doesn't seem quite as out of place, but it definitely did not feel well suited in the beginning. I'll get back to my thoughts on the song and its music video in a moment, but to talk about the spread a little bit, this was once again another spread where my double-sided tape was not sticking well. It seems to stick best to certain materials more than others, and unfortunately I have to find out which ones those are while I'm making stuff. And apparently both this type of standard computer paper that I printed these photos off on and whatever kind of craft paper this black paper is are two of those things it doesn't stick well to. So I decided to give my glue stick that I forgot why I don't use a go, and although it is much better than the double-sided tape, it's not as strong as liquid glue, which is why I don't use it, and so once it dries, it's still easily pulled up. This isn't a bad thing though. It will come in handy later, as you'll see. Once I decided how I'm going to place these different bits of paper to create the base of the spread, I got to cutting out the elements I'm going to be adding next. Cutting out the members took 500 years, but once those were ready, I got to deciding what order they were going in and how far apart they'd be along the bottom. I got to sticking them down with double-sided tape, which was dumb, because once again, it doesn't stick well to either of these materials and this would not be a lasting solution. Sometimes I gotta make things difficult for myself by doing them more than once, I guess. That's how lessons are always truly learned, is by making the same mistake at least twice. Even better if it's immediately back to back. Nina made it very clear she didn't want to stay on the paper, and once she rebelled against me, the rest of the members began to follow suit, and eventually I had very few still left on the pages. Nina and Rima were my top two, but Nina, she led the rebellion, and Rima, she was on the fence for most of this, and so that's not loyal enough for me. So Mako, and I believe it's Mayuka, I actually can't see in the footage which member that is, and I'm not looking at the spread directly at the moment as I record this voiceover, so I'm assuming it's Mayuka, I believe, but anyway, they're my favorites now. Anyway, I got to cutting out the girls from the regular edition's cover and then got to fixing some things like the empty space in the upper left corner and sticking down those two pictures that I cut out earlier. These look strange right now, but I have a plan. Trust the process with this one, you won't regret it. The MV for this single is lovely, and it definitely turned my lukewarm opinion of the song around. There's no choreo in the MV, unfortunately, but the lack of dance scenes is replaced with scenes of the girls doing whatever it is they're doing. Considering this is a winter ballad, you would think the entire music video would center around the winter season, but half of it is taken up by scenes of the girls in what I'm assuming are school uniforms playing around and going for bike rides during late summer maybe early autumn. The alternate version of the music video removes these scenes and focuses solely on the studio shots with the winter outfits and aesthetics, which is what I would have expected the main music video to be. Kudos to the extra effort put into the main music video, but I don't really know what the summer scenes have to do with anything else going on in the music video. Overall, I think the alternate version is better for that sole reason. It's more cohesive visually and matches the song's vibe better throughout. That said, the street lamps don't make much of an appearance in either version, but they really stood out to me, so they're the main focus of this spread. I had the idea of the middle of the spread where there's the old vintage article about the moon being where everything becomes drawn with ink like an old storybook or something. So I started with the lamps, tracing the outside edges with pencil first to make sure that the sizing was accurate, and then sketching them briefly with my pen before sticking the little lamps underneath the article so that they get cut off and it creates the illusion of them becoming drawings. I made sure to keep things loose and sketchy as I wanted them to look more rough and wispy, like they were quickly and casually sketched onto the article by a daydreamy teenage girl in ye olden times or something. I don't know. I just wanted to make it look like I wasn't nervously sweating while doing this. Next was the hardest part of the entire spread, recreating the balcony the girls stand on and making it the exact same size as the cutout. This took a very, very long time, but as most things that take a very, very long time do, it was worth the extra effort. I also did this with the tree, where the branches become drawings. I then cut the girls out and placed them onto their spot on the balcony, touched up a few areas, then broke out my white paint and painted on some swirly, whimsical clouds. This is something I have never done in any of my journals before, so I was going a little out of my comfort zone here, but this is probably one of my best ideas I've ever had so far for a journal spread, and I will be abusing this idea in the future. In fact, I got so confident in my ideas after this one that I took the risk of ruining the whole thing by flicking paint onto it for a snowy effect that had the potential to go horribly wrong. It ended up being fine, but that deep breath to calm my nerves was understandable given the amount of effort and time I could have wasted with this move. I finished it all off with some stars at the top and called it Dunzo. This spread was so much fun to make, and I know I say that about everything I do, but seriously, this one was so much fun, and I created a pretty unique spread this time that I'm really proud of. I love the way the sketchy parts of the spread look, and the street lamps specifically are probably my favorite part, but there's so many good elements in this one that it's a tough decision to make as to what I like best about it. Let me know in the comments what your favorite part is. While planning out how I'll do this spread, I was so inspired by the aesthetics of this release that I ended up creating 2 spread designs, the second of which will be January's J-Pop Journal episode. If you enjoyed this video and would like to watch the other episodes in this series, I have a playlist here on my channel that you can check out for more. I post a new J-Pop journal video once a month, and otherwise post mostly vlog and art-related content every Sunday. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again with a new J-Pop Journal with Me episode in the new year.